This gentleman was a very fast and speedy player. His opponents backed up when he saw him play, because when you have the nickname of the Eel, you know that you got a lot of slippery moves going on. So we're going to talk about the highly respected and the legendary career of Camille Hendry. Now, Joseph William Camille the Eel Hendry, born January 31st, 1933, played numerous seasons on left wing for the Rangers, the Blackhawks, and the Blues in the NHL. Now, born in Quebec City, he became the major prominence in the Quebec Junior Hockey League with the Quebec Citadels during his junior career. Now, he led the league in goals in 52, and with 46 and 53. He also led the league in point scoring in 52 with 114, and was selected to the Q's first All-Star team in 52 and 53. Henry also made an appearance in the 1953 Memorial Cup, posted 21 points in 8 games. Now, he was a high prospect for the Rangers for many years. He was signed by the Blue and White, and he made his NHL debut with the Rangers in 54. He had his great success wearing number 21 for the Rangers. Now, but at 5'7" and 150, he was the smallest player in the NHL at the time and suffered numerous injuries throughout his career. He was also known for his ability to swat the puck out of midair to score goals. Now, he won the Calder Rookie of the Year in his opening season, beating out, of all people, Jean Beliveau of the Habs. Now, after playing 21 games in the Rangers the following year, Hendry was traded to the province of Reds of the AHL. He was then loaned to the Quebec Aces of the Quebec Hockey League. He would then return to the Reds in 56 and led the NHL in goals with 50. Henry would also lead the Reds to a Calder Cup championship, and in the process, he scored 10 goals in 9 games to lead all players in scoring. Now, in 57, Henry returned to the Rangers. Now, he split his time with New York and the Reds that season before playing for 7 straight years with only the Rangers. Now, Camille was selected as an NHL second All-Star team left winger in 58. The year he also won the Lady Byng as the most sportsmanlike player in the association. In 65, he was named captain of the Rangers, and he also played in the 58, 63, and 64 NHL All-Star games. In 65, Henry was traded to the Blackhawks for Paul Schmier. Henry then played 22 games with the Blackhawks, notching 8 points. Now, during that season, Henry also made the first ever trip to the Stanley Cup Finals, but the Blackhawks ended up losing in 7 games to the Habs. He would then return to New York in 68, where he would split his time with the Bisons in the NHL. And Henry was later traded to the Blues in 69, where he went to the finals again that year. He would play 2 seasons with the Blues before retiring. Now, he's also part of NHL history when on November 1st, 1959, Jacques Plante first wore a mask for protection of the game. Camille was the only player to score against him in that contest. Now, on December 12, 1963, Camille participated in an NHL record when the Habs and the Rangers combined for the fastest 3 goals by 2 teams in NHL history. Dave Ballon and Jill Tremblay scored for Montreal, and Camille scored for the Rangers, all within 18 seconds, and this record stood for 20 years. Now, after retirement, he got into coaching. He coached the Kansas City Blues of the CHL in 70, and then coached the New York Raiders of the WHA, but never duplicated his early success. By the way, his wife was the famous Quebec comedian and chanteuse Dominique Michel, who entertained many people over the years with her great style of presentation. Dominique is probably one of the most popular people in Quebec history of what's called the golden era of Quebec entertainment. Now, after his retirement, Henry lived in Quebec City and held security jobs, eventually become essentially destitute. He was widely considered to have an alcohol consumption problem, which was complicated by diabetes. He unfortunately died shortly after receiving his first reimbursement for the Players' Pension Fund, which was awarded by the courts. Now, Henry eventually ran to twin rinks in Totowa, New Jersey, and Branchwood Park in Newark. Now, just to recap the awards and achievements, selected to the Q's All-Star team 52 and 53, Calder winner 54, AHL first All-Star 56, Calder Cup 56, NHL All-Star games 58, 63, 64. NHL second All-Star teams, 58. Lady Byng winner, 58. In the book we've been quoting from, he was number 21 on the all-time New York Rangers greats. And November 1st, 59, again, he played against Jacques Plante when he donned the mask for the first time. He was the only person to score a goal against him. Now, for me, his best season was 1963 when he notched 60 points in 60 games, including 37 goals. Now, final NHL totals, 727 games played, 279 goals, 528 points, and 18 points in the playoffs. Now, coaching record with the Raiders and the Knights, in both seasons he missed the playoffs. So, a tough end to a great career, but unfortunately in hockey, sometimes the success of the sport gets to you, but things happen, you know. But for me, the statistics and numbers there, Camille, like I said, very smooth on the ice, and he still has a great respect amongst hockey fans of the great skaters of the 1960s and 70s. So that's the Many Lives of Camille Henry. Thanks for listening. Bye.